First pod back.
Yeah, dude.
Nice.
It,
I,
it,
I'm getting flashbacks to distant learning.
I know, right? Is it a good flashback or is it a bad flashback?
It's bad good and bad. I mostly say negative flashback just because that wasn't learning. But on the other side, free time and just some time to decompress and get some space from it. That was nice.
It was, bro. It's a strange ass year, dude. Like last year.
Super strange.
Do you
I,
think it was do you think it was like a necessary thing?
like it needed to happen for our world in some strange way, like in that way.
Yeah, like that shakeup or whatever.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great question. I think it did in some sense because it kind of woke us up to certain things. Like me as an educator, it kind of woke me up to, are we really using our time wisely? Do we need to use this much time? Do we need 5 days, 6 hours a day? Are all of those hours necessary? And especially how we choose to spend them. Students sitting in a desk for 6 hours.
hmm.
Like, And then on the personal side too, you know, a lot of people started working out, started getting into creative endeavors and things like that. And I gave us some time to just question why things are the way they are. What do we like? What don't we like?
Yeah, bro. It offered us a lot of space. It offered us a lot of space. And to go to your first point about the days being so long, like unnecessarily long. It's I feel bad sometimes that as a society we don't decide to be smarter. Like what is it? What does it take? Is it always gonna be a political battle because whatever people in positions of paperwork and power they decide that the business is a certain model, and it's frustrating, bro. It really is frustrating. But at the end of the day, it kind of goes back to us. Like we have to be like the solution to that, right? And at the end of the day, they're gonna have their model. They're gonna have their model, and either we're gonna utilize it or not. So I mean, I'm still utilizing it. You know.
Yeah, I feel like we know the systems, like all the different systems we have, are super resistant to change, and we can complain and complain and complain about it and just end up those grouchy ass teachers that are in there for their whole careers just hating life and then making the class for their students miserable, or like you said, we can work within that model and see what we can do. And it really just comes to, you just got to take some risks, some chances, explore some things, and hopefully you have the freedom and flexibility to do that at your school or your environment or whatever your workplace is. It doesn't even have to be a school. um, so yeah, for me, I feel like I just gotta find my, or a key for me is like just making sure whatever I'm doing, I see the why behind it. I find some purpose and I can put a little bit of me into it. Because if I'm just doing things that I don't connect with or I don't find worth in, then it's phony.
For sure, bro. Like the old fucking teacher, right? That's upset about everything, and there's just I sense a certain level of fear and negativity that's just a part of who they are at that point. It's dangerous. It's
and
dangerous.
and it's interesting to imagine what was that teacher like when they first got into education. Were they like me and you? Were they enthused and empowered? And then did it slowly over time just beat them and beat it out of them until where they just became jaded and looked at everything like, I pretty much, like you said, just through that lens of negativity and doubt and fear and just stuck in, this is the way it is.
I think likely they were. a young, excited, coming out of college type kid, very idealistic. Perhaps not. I mean, I do know that there's a lot of stories of teachers that get into the profession later on in life. You know what I'm saying? As not such a young person, 40s, even 50s. I think those are some very rare cases, but they happen. And I think at the end of the day, every teacher just by nature is going to end up playing a different role, a different role for the children. But at that point, it really is the village raising a child. But at the same time, it's like the village, you can say, is sick. So what are we passing down is just more sickness onto the kids. And unfortunately, you see it out in society, man, where everyone's just like functioning not at their highest capacity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless they are, but I don't really get that feeling, right? Like when I'm just walking down the street or whatever, 90% of the time I don't really see people like radiating with like, fuck yeah, like I crushed it today. It's more on some like, oh fuck, man. Like,
is it Saturday yet?
Right.
That. Yeah, no, that's so true. Just you don't always see too many people just have that like vigor for life in general and just seizing the day. And I think people get like doses of it. They get a little taste of it. And then they jump with it for a little while, but it's hard to keep that going, especially when part of growth is a struggle, and not everyone is equipped to deal with struggle, especially that mental struggle, that doubt that seeps into your mind, and those fears, and oh, what's the point of doing this over again? Because I don't know where I read a whole bunch of mindfulness books and stuff, and one comparison I always make is like planting a seed, right? Like you don't bear the fruits of that tree right away. It takes time and time and time. And I think it takes a really special person or strong mindset, whatever it may be, to keep watering that plant day over day over day, endure those storms and all of that to finally get that fruit. So what do you think? How do you keep that? How do you keep watering that seed? Well, that's the real question.
Here's the key to sustaining that: community. Like if you don't have community, you get lost in the storm. You feel what I'm saying? Because community is what's there to hold you during the storm.
I like that.
And you don't just wash away, dude. And I gotta give credit because it was my boy SGN that actually just recently was talking to me about that, because right now, well, I'm just gonna say it on the podcast because can't be afraid, and this is what this whole thing is all about, I've decided that this year is gonna be my last year teaching.
Wow, drop the bomb on me, man. What? Sheesh.
I know.
Tell me more.
We've had some of those tough conversations, right?
Yeah,
About how this year was really like a strong battle for me. I think the savoring thing is that I don't feel like I'm ditching, the movement to help humanity or kids. I don't feel like I'm doing that, nor do I feel like I'm ditching them. As a matter of fact, I'm choosing to stay another semester, which is putting me at risk at pretty much possibly not having a job next year. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. It's very bold for me to be here in this moment of life, in my life, and just say like, I loved teaching, right? Loved it. It's past tense. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean that I can't find that again or regardless, right? But anyways, the point is that the homie told me how important community was, right? And how being at his school and in his community, he's like, bro, this is community right here. Like, I promise you, you know. And like, I mess with their perceptions, you know. And so it made sense, bro. I was like, it's like you can't just be on your vibe or on your frequency and think you're gonna change 40 other frequencies. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need a community of frequency
Yeah,
to elevate everything, bro.
that's so true. Yeah, community. Wow, and this is community right now. Well, what we're doing right now,
Facts.
this is community, and it's funny. Like now that when you said community, so I also thought of books. I was
Mm,
like, in a way, now it's not the same type, right? Like you're not talking back and forth necessarily, but you might be still exchanging, or maybe not exchanging, but taking in ideas from people that have died, that have lived on this earth for years and years and years, and have tons of wisdom, and might be operating on that same frequency that you are, or that same frequency that you're heading towards. So that's something that came to my mind. But 100%, man, like a community is huge, and I think it's essential for growth. Like whenever I hang out with you, I always feel a little bit more fueled. I feel, we just feed off each other in a sense, and it just makes me want to go harder in terms of creating and following what feels right to me.
mm.
Yeah, it's interesting, and if you get that massive community, where just imagine that, and the world's just interconnected, man. We're all interconnected.
Yes, sir. So we end up becoming like a vessel, right? I could see a ship going through space, right? Like, it needs the whole crew really to function, right? And that's what we're trying to do, like interplanet um level type um elevation. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would be so complex and so hard to go to travel to a different planet and so on, right? So that's the complexity of where our mind is at, right? Where it comes when it comes down to like reaching the kids and being able to have an impact, because their future doesn't 100% depend on being at school or being with adults.
In some ways, I hate to say it, but in some ways, like some school systems, or a lot of schools, and the way education is set up, to me, it's hurting them in ways, and limiting them and what they see for themselves. And like, just there's so many. This is like right now, this time, since we were talking about COVID and stuff, like you saw like an explosion of like possibility for the way things can be, like people working from home, just all these different creative ideas came out of it. And I think schools could be that, where like kids learn to really find that creativity within themselves and
Mm,
whatnot. But going back to community, I don't know. I don't really feel community at least at my school, like within the teachers. But even like if we're with all the staff, we're not all on the same mission. So that's a key in community. You got to be on that same mission, and similar frequencies, like you were saying. And I think that's kind of what you're getting to, is maybe you didn't feel that way, or you tell me, were you feeling that way? Like, did you feel disconnected from your school community in ways? Is that part of
definitely.
it?
Definitely, man. I feel strongly connected to the kids, and I feel connected to the geographical landscape. But when it came down to like the culture of the school, I mean, no. I mean, they're it's such a like difficult thing, right? To say, what does it look like? What does a community look like
Yeah,
within that model of teachers, admin, etc.? I think there has to be a high level of authenticity, you know, right off the bat, you know. And on top of that, the educators and so on also have to pretty much possess like the revolutionary mindset and spirit, you know, um, to be down to try new things. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Not
Yep.
not like not not be scared to take chances. And a lot of the teachers that have been doing it for a while, they don't want to do that because that's not how they do things, right?
Yeah.
And it's always gonna come down to that right there. So, I mean, shit, getting a whole staff that's like that, whew, it's probably
Yeah.
got to be the $1 million question, you know?
That'll be, and it's, you said authenticity, and it's so hard for people to be authentic because a lot of people don't really know themselves. A lot of, or at least for me, like I'm still figuring it out, how to be my most authentic self. I think I'm becoming more and more authentic as time goes on, but at the same time, it's it's something that I think is really challenging for people because you got to spend some time with yourself and really explore yourself. And
¿Qué pasó, bro? Give me a second, bro.
no worries.
That's funny, dog. I basically told him, I was like, bro, you're gonna be in the podcast, dude.
Oh, that's what's up. You should have had him join in.
Yeah. Where were we at?
We're talking about authenticity.
Hey, bro, is your poster gonna stay like that? For some reason, it's bothering me.
Oh, my bad.
No. Your poster.
Wait, what poster?
You don't see the poster behind you? It's falling off.
Oh, all right. This is a Bob Marley poster. Yeah, dude, it's bugging me too. Now that you said it, yeah, the staple fell off, and I can't find my staple gun.
Man,
I know.
we got a rep for Bob Marley a lot better than that.
I'm letting him down. Oh, I got you right now. I got some tape right here. I'm gonna
Yes, sir.
make
Let's
your
get
dreams
it.
come true.
I forgot myself that I could lock the door, dude.
It's all good, man.
Uh,
Classic podcast moment right there.
and this is really how they should be, you know?
Yeah, they're real.
So yeah, man, there's always gonna be a lot, you know, there's always gonna be a lot to swivel through. But the community question is a powerful one, bro, and one that we should never shy away from talking about, and furthermore actually like bring it into life, you know. And it's easier said than done, obviously, because I mean I've been at this school one virtual year and half a year in person, and you know I've built the community that I can build right while I'm there. And I mean it's just a challenge, bro. Adults, humans, we're all very complex, you
Yeah.
know. I think the best chance we got is for leaders to choose other like revolutionary minded leaders, you know, to create a school from scratch, you know. And you know Amen Ra has done that with University Pathways, you know, like his school is all about like agency and change, and it's amazing. It's like it's in the hood, and they're really doing it. So you know, I'd be really blessed, bro, if I get to go out there. Honestly, you know, if that gets to be my next site,
I hope so. That'd be great, man.
it would be good for me to just find
Hire
kindred
this man, please.
kindred spirits. You know what I mean? Like it, it's very much a deep work. And even when you're in that circle, it's not going to be easy. The work is never easy, you know. That deep transformational stuff is never easy, but I'm telling you, bro, the strength of the circle or of the village is what fuels you, is what sustains you, it's what motivates you. It's that accountability piece. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm keeping you accountable because you're the homie. I'm not keeping you accountable because you're a fucking check or something to me. You know, it's not my job, right, to make sure that you're getting good scores, dude.
It's because you love them and you care for them, and that's what real community is about, right? At its core is love for one another.
100%, bro. 100%. I've missed out a lot of community these past couple years, actually.
That's true.
Um,
That's one thing that was missing with that online learning, right? The community. And I really like the accountability piece that you just mentioned right now. Accountability is so important. I just think among my friends, holding each other accountable, just like, yo, why are you doing this? Like start working out, bro. Like just being real with someone because you care about them can go really far. And there's some people shy away from it because it could be awkward, but if it's coming from the right place, you should do it. I mean, I'm thankful for it. I have friends that hold me accountable.
and when they do, how do you feel? How do you feel when you're put in that spot of like, you're either fucking up or you could do better?
At first, it's a little shocking, especially because not all my friends do, but I have some select friends that are very like that um, are very inspired individuals, empowered individuals, and what they've seen, what they have done for themselves, they want others to do.
Hmm.
But so like I think at least for me, when that happens, um like internally I might feel a little defensive at first, just for a second, but then I explore that a little bit further, and then like, shit, he's right. And most of the time the stuff that people are holding you accountable for is stuff that you already know you need to be doing,
Hmm.
and you just need that little push or that little, hey bro, come on, get to it, you know what's up. And other times we have our blind spots, and the accountability is a wake-up call.
Dude, it's spot on, bro. Spot on. The beginning of like, you don't really want to hear it, but at the end of the day, you always knew you needed to do better in that area. So it's just
Yeah.
like, damn, like you you're like, nah, I'm not. I'm not just imagining or overthinking this, or like, now that you have pretty much restated and reiterated what I'm feeling and seeing, then it means I gotta make a push. I gotta make a change. Um, and that's the work I'd be doing, bro. That's the work I'd be doing as in this next step, which would be more of like a dean type of thing.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay, so you're leaving teaching, but you're still going to be within the educational sphere, just in a different role.
yes,
So, tell me more. Yeah, tell me more about what this new role might be potentially.
I think in my next role, I'm moving around, bro. I gotta be able to come in and out of school, like, not just because I want to go party or something, but because there's a community aspect that I'm trying to draw links to. You know what I'm saying? Where like, it's okay if I take a kid out for a drive, for example. You know what I'm saying? Because he needs to be taken out of an environment and really like given a different perspective, like, or going to the courts, you know what I'm saying? Or, tossing a football, playing chess, playing checkers. There's a lot of different things, like a lot of different strategies, in that position that I'm imagining that I can utilize. Like, why does a meeting with a fucking adult have to be inside a room? Why can't we go to the
Yeah,
park, walk around, like on some chill stuff? You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And I think that's how I can really change the game, bro. Is like, let us be humans, you know,
Yes.
like that's probably my biggest advantage, bro. Is like, I'm so capable of like breaking down everything that's supposed to be, right? To the point where it's like, nah, I don't know why. Like, I don't, it doesn't make sense, right? Like, how about we try something radical, you know?
Yeah.
Um, and I guess it'll be that's kind of like the position I'm imagining, you know? And maybe it sounds like some like make-believe shit that's possible or not possible, but that's kind of just a little bit, of what I imagine, right? Communicating with adults and kids. And I'm definitely planning to utilize your cards, bro, because
Mm.
now the mindfulness, I can instill that into them on one-on-ones.
Yeah. And that, dude, one-on-one, that's powerful.
Dude, you feel me? And I could
Ooh.
use this with the teachers too.
Yeah.
Like, all right, so Johnny really made you pissed off today, huh? Look, no, I'm not trying to be like Mr. Know-it-all or like psychiatrist or nothing, but let's try this. I'm gonna do it with you, right? Like the exercises, right? When it comes down to being mindful, dude, mindfulness is for everybody. And
Everybody.
and if a grown as adult is looking at me like I'm treating like a kid or whatever, then I'm gonna just be like, well, honestly, if you're gonna be pretty much like against growth, then you're showing me that you're someone that's not willing to be part of the village spirit that's gonna be revolutionary to change our entire culture. And that wouldn't me be I wouldn't be mean, I wouldn't be anything. I would just be like, that's the actions, right? Like you can say you're all about the people and this and that, but if your actions are against the best aspects for the community, then you're pretty much just showing your own cards at that point.
Yeah. I really think that's powerful. Just going back to that first part you said about like, why do you have to meet with students, especially as a dean or someone like that? Why do you have to meet students in an office and have like automatically you have these associations like, okay, you're over here, I'm over here because you're in trouble and I'm the powerful figure. You messed up somehow. And that's why you're in here. Versus you go to the basketball courts and you're shooting around and talking with them, keeping it real. That just kind of shows like, hey, we're both people. Like you said, it comes down to that common thing. And that's what my students, that's what my students like about me is I don't really, in my head, I never really have this view of like, I'm the teacher, you're the students,
Mm.
even though I'm teaching them, showing them things and stuff like that, there's not that separation. I just talk to them as human beings. And that's what we all want. I'm sure people who love their jobs, it's because they don't feel like someone's talking down to them. They feel like they're working with fellow human beings that they're connected with. So that's super powerful. And mindfulness, me on mindfulness, I get all jazzed up for mindfulness. So that's so cool. You're gonna try to use those cards with them. I'm still trying to figure ways to teach mindfulness to students and things like that. And I've even thought about, like you said, like working with people one-on-one. Like if I could just offer some like coaching, like life coaching, it sounds weird, sounds cheesy. Like, who are you to be a life coach? But
Mm.
but I guess it's really like, no, I'm a homie helper, you know?
I like that. Hey, uh, a homie helping club or something. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
homies help homies. I like that. To be honest, it makes it more relatable too. And you're spot on, bro. You're spot on with the analysis of not being the authority. You know what I'm saying? Some people take that authority thing too seriously, and that's what really screws them up big time. So like, oh, why would this kid even dare talk to me like that? And I'm just like, well, they keep doing it. And they keep doing it because now they know that you get a reaction out of it. So they know how to play you, you know?
Yeah. And
I'm not saying
and
you should never respond, right? But pick and choose how and where and why and who.
Exactly. And as a teacher, especially when it comes to why I find mindfulness so powerful, especially from the lens of a teacher, is just because you're going to run into difficult students at times. And we all know that they may be difficult for reasons, right? They're dealing with trauma at home. They're not getting enough sleep. Some dramas happening at school. They don't have enough love in their life. So like we can all internalize that and know, okay, we know students are going through stuff. But when it comes to in the moment, when a student is disrespectful to a teacher or doesn't listen to their directions or whatever it is, people don't consider those things in those heat of the moment times. But when you're mindful, you still may have a reaction internally that's angry or upset, or you may go through this mental dialogue of why this kid is a jerk and you're doing everything you can to be nice to him, but he's still acting like a jerk, whatever it is. But when you're mindful, you can notice that dialogue, you can notice those feelings and not act on them, you know? So like this year, I've had a challenging student, and one time, like I haven't been upset in a long time teaching, and he got my blood boiling, but luckily I didn't act on that. I didn't, I noticed it. And then mentally I just labeled it. I was like, all right, that's anger. You know, I'm feeling anger. So I was just taking some breaths like discreetly, just, just breathing through my nose, relaxing myself a little bit, notice some dialogue. I was like, all right, let me just take a little space. I need to calm myself. I don't want to talk to him right now. Give us both a little space, and then I'll recollect myself and then come back and speak with the student. And later on, so we ended up talking and whatnot. And it's been cool since then, I kept it real with him after class. I was able to say what I really mean versus saying some response that comes from being emotionally hijacked, you know? So that was powerful. And then as teachers, we have those tough periods, right? So like you might be like, oh, my second period is rough, man. So even before that class gets there, as a teacher, you're like, you kind of have that internal dread, like, okay, here comes that class, or that those internal expectations of what's going to happen. So I started cluing into that with mindfulness, it helps me to clue into that. I was like, oh, look, I'm already projecting onto my second period. It's a brand new day. I'm still carrying yesterday with me to today's class. I'm like, that's not helpful. I'm creating this situation in some ways by doing that. Like you said, the frequency, the energy you're putting off. So I started noticing that, and I was like, no, I'm not going to engage with those thoughts anymore. When those thoughts come up, I'm just going to notice and label them like, okay, look, there I am projecting about a future that I don't even know what's going to happen. And then what I started noticing is then second period will come in, we'll have a great day. And it just completely shifts my perspective. So I have that shift of this class is this, putting them in that box versus, oh, this is a brand new day.
Hey, you're dropping some gems, bro, in the teaching world for sure. Like literally, bro, the solution to the shittiness of teachers is what you just said right now. That, in a nutshell, is one of the clearest ways, right? If teachers could do that step by step every day, like the whole system would need no more a restorative approach. You know what I'm saying? Because now there was the restoration. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, it's like preventative care.
That's what I'm gonna try my best to teach.
Nice. I love it, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like now I'm gonna be coaching a teacher. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be easy, right? Because it's a tool that you and I have been working on for a long time.
Yeah.
Like a long, long time, and I still get caught slipping.
Yep, me too.
So it's gonna go back down right to that. Like, all right, hey, John, you've been working on that. Like, how's Johnny making you feel? Like, or how's that second period going, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, Um, I know. Oh, Spielberg is in your second period. Damn, that dude's crazy. Dropping those mad rhymes on the sheets.
Oh
It's,
man.
it's exciting, bro. I'll tell you that much, bro. I've been really manifesting. You know what I'm saying? And it seems to me like the path is not clear, and that's fine. One of the homies earlier just told me like, what would be the point of living life if you always knew where you were going?
Mm,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Uh oh, look, I want to read a couple quotes to you that just kind of came to mind right now that are very much aligned to that thought. Okay, so as Carl Jung wrote, if the path before you is clear, you're probably on someone else's.
Mm, I like that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we all have our own unique path, and it's so easy to we get a taste of our own path, and then we even sometimes hop onto someone else's.
It's hard. It's hard not to want to be like someone else.
It is. And that goes back to like how difficult it is to be authentic.
Yes,
It's like
sir.
you got to be willing to drive into that fog, not really knowing where the road's going to lead.
Yeah.
And just trusting also, it's a big part of that is trust. Just trusting that where you're at right now is where you're supposed to be, especially if you know you're following your heart, you're putting in the work, you're showing up for yourself. If you're doing those things, then you got to trust that, hey, I'm on the right road. And I might not know necessarily what's next, but I know right now this is where I need to be, and this is what I need to do.
I think I think that takes a serious level of discernment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. Dude, I'm not saying I got it down, hell no. But those moments when you do just like let go into it just feels right. Like you've had those moments where you're just kind of like free falling in a way, and you're just free falling into life. That doesn't mean like you're not trying or putting effort, but you're just okay, yeah, this is it, you know. And it's hard to it's that whole like battle of like we're never really satisfied necessarily, and it's not always a bad thing, but at the
Mm,
same time it could be a trap too,
yeah.
like like the objective of every moment isn't to get to the next moment, you
Mm,
know. If that's the case, why, I don't know, it's not too fun to me, like it's a balance of both. You gotta, like, I think of Kobe really learned to love the process. Even when he was doing the most minute things, he
mm.
was fully there, fully present. Not he still had his long-term goals and stuff, but right now, like, he's like, this is where I'm at. I know I'm gonna get here, but right now, this is my road right now, what I'm doing right this minute. So it's interesting, and that's something I've been trying to figure out myself.
Bro, goddamn, bro, you just keep dropping fucking gems on the show. Hey, Kobe is a beautiful example, man. You know what I'm saying? Like hard work, persistence, dedication. It it, it really pays off, man. It really pays off. But another thing that you said that was great. We keep saying that happiness is gonna come, right? Happiness is gonna come. If only I get here. If only I get here. You know,
Yeah.
eh, dude. There's another quote. You know, this was much longer. I don't remember it. It's from, I'm not sure if it was Carl Sagan or uh, damn, he was a big psychedelic guy. He was big into psychedelics. It
Mm,
wasn't Timothy Leary.
mm.
Mm, super smart guy that would talk a lot about mushrooms.
Not McKenna. Terrence McKenna.
Yeah, Terrence. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Terrence was talking about how we're so addicted, like how Western society, capitalistic society, made us so addicted to uh waiting for our rewards. Oh, delayed gratification. There you go. Took me a while to get those thoughts together. So delayed gratification, he states, is a result of the society, right? Always saying, oh, we're gonna get to this goal, we're gonna get to this goal. Just wait until I get this job, or wait till I get this, like, wait until we're free. Like, we're, you know what I'm saying? We're always like liberation here, freedom here. But he says we live our entire lives and we never get there. So what happened? You know? Says the real key is in immersing yourself in the happiness of the moment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's like, no, what's nature to humankind is the pleasure. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's something pleasurable about that moment. That was now. I literally just lived it instead of waiting till I'm a millionaire.
Exactly. And why is that so hard? And it's interesting you bring that up, because today we were analyzing the song "Love Yours" by J. Cole. I know, right? And he goes on those same lines, you know. He talks to us about he was seeking happiness in these materialistic things down the road, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna buy my mom a house, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But it's really about loving your life now. And that's why is that so hard to do?
Again, bro, the programming, bro, the society, the sickness, the home, the everything, bro, everything. So it, man, I mean, we got to be careful, you know, when we start raising, if we have children, you know,
Yeah.
being very intentional and being like, I know I can only do so much, right? Society is gonna do a lot, but while you're with me, I'm showing you the potential of your mind and your spirit constantly, you know. They have to see me studying, they have to see me eating healthy, working out, you know, loving their mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is how they're gonna learn. And in doing so, now you have a better chance of helping a human understand the real power. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really do agree with people that humans don't really know their full capacity. I think a
Yeah.
lot, I think a lot of us do. And that's why and they get written down. These enlightened ideas literally get written down,
And that's
right?
why they always resonate generation after generation.
Because there's people, man. And as long as there's people, there's gonna be a hunger. There's gonna be a hunger for a
True.
desire, right?
Yeah. That modeling is huge, you know, and we even do that with our friends, you know. They say you are who you hang out with. So
Facts.
even on a different scale, like your actions around your friends can be super inspiring. Like, for example, um, I've been on my fitness game since forever. Basically, I've always played sports, but then in high school, started going to the gym. My dad, because my dad was running marathons, doing triathlons, super active dude. So I internalized that. I saw the work ethic that he puts in, and I always saw him flexing. I'd be feeling his biceps and stuff, all amazed and things like that. So I started working out, and I grew a love for it. And and then even when it comes to just being better with my eating, I still eat a lot of junk, but like I don't overeat, but I'm not getting into details of that. But the point is that he modeled that for me, and then now that's just become a regular part of my life. And now I see some of my friends that hang around with me see that I've always been into working out. I do macros and stuff, and now I'm coaching one of my friends because he wanted to hop onto the workout life. He's started at 260 pounds, and now he's down to like 220, 225. He's lost like 40 pounds. And that just like
Bro,
speaks to the power of of that modeling, like it's not something where I was constantly telling him, bro, I know I talked about accountability, but I was never like always on him or anything. I was just always like, yo, if you want to like hop on this, I got you, bro. I'll coach you. And then one time he did. And then now he loves it, man.
Hey, bro, that's a revolutionary change, bro. And this is why I know that you're a revolutionary teacher and coach, bro, because man, it requires certain attitude about life. You know what I'm saying? Like it really, really, really does require you to be at times like just so down that you're like, I got you. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, props to this guy, bro. Like that's life changing, bro. Losing 40 pounds.
Yeah. Have you ever Googled what like 5 pounds of fat looks like?
No,
If you ever get a chance, Google what 5 pounds of fat looks
I
like. And
mean,
then,
dude, I could do that right now.
yeah, oh, that's the beauty of those Zooms, huh?
Yes,
Watch,
sir.
Google 5 pounds of fat
All
and
right.
then just press images. And then just imagine what 8 of those.
5 pounds of that. Images. All right, let's check this out. I want to go ahead and share the screen.
Oh, yeah, you can share the screen too. I
Yeah,
like that.
share. Can you see it now?
Yep. Look at that, man.
Dude, that's 5 pounds right there.
Some of them might be like 20, but
So
yeah,
now, so
man.
that's what five
So,
pounds looks like. Now let's look at 5 pounds of muscle.
and it's a lot smaller, unfortunately.
There it is. This is a
Yeah,
good one.
there's a comparison, man.
Wow. Look, bro, pin.
Yeah.
Whoa, dude. You know what, man? Anatomy is a trip. I really, really hella be tripping, bro. It's beautiful. That's one thing that I think I always did kind of have a passion for, or would have a passion for, like learning, um, doing some of that. Because I mean, as athletes, like the way the body
Yeah.
works
It's
is
amazing.
is is very much like super, super crazy, right?
Hey, you disappeared on me. You gave me the peace sign. There you go. No,
Well,
it is. And it's crazy, like just how we keep getting smarter and smarter with the body, like
Mhm.
knowing how to really maximize it. Like how crazy is it that people are still breaking records in sports? Like sports have been played for so long, but we've really learned how to master recovery. And I don't even want to say master because they're gonna get better and better at it, um, how to maximize your leaping ability and all these different things. And the body is really just a machine. And the more I think about it, it's like everything in some sense you can approach as a machine. Like it's all parts and little things working together to make the collective work, whether it be your phone, your body, a school, anything. It's everything has their little roles, and it's crazy. And but going to the body, the intelligence of the body's pretty nuts. Like we're not thinking about breathing right now. Our body's breathing for itself. Our blood's flowing. That's the kind of, I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
The body is, in fact, like a walking miracle.
It is.
And
And we
when you
just,
really think about it, and you're like, imagine the intelligence, like you said, the natural intelligence of our cells and our muscles and tendons to just exist. And if I cut myself right now, if I don't cut the wrong vein, I'll I'll be fine. Like our
yeah,
body regenerates, dude. That's amazing. Obviously, it doesn't regenerate limbs, right? But speaking to another point, that's why I think eventually we will merge with the machines. Like I do think humans will merge with the machines because we're so obsessed with getting better and stronger and faster. And eventually someone's gonna be like, Well, no shit. Let's just fucking put on robot arms. Now I can bench 5,000 pounds.
Mm. I'm super curious about that, just because I'm like, what happened? So are you thinking like we go in like how do you think that process happens? Like we
I
get a
mean,
chip in
just
our
from
brain
from
and
the
then
perspective of a moron in the 21st century, you're gonna go to the lab and they're gonna be like, you know, something like that. I imagine, I
yeah.
don't know, maybe next 100 years, you know, I could totally see humans already um, either A, colonized by AI or B, merged to find a way to survive.
Yeah. It's a scary thought, but is that scary to you?
I think it's so a far-fetched idea at the moment
Yeah.
that I'm not really worried about it. There'll
Yeah,
there'll be
like go on,
there'll
my
be
bad.
many more economic disasters and geographical and climate disasters before that point comes, that we have our fair share of human moments that to live through before
Yeah, that's
that.
not your main concern right now.
Dude, I feel like you and I we're not really two people that are too concerned per
Yeah,
se.
for sure. Or no worries.
Which is kind of messed up to say, because we obviously know the state of the world. um, and people clearly like to talk about the state of the world. It's not that I'm ignorant, right? We're not ignorant to the state of the world, but we're choosing to share us a different energy, right?
Yeah. We're not choosing to put all of our energy towards that. We're putting it towards the positives, the solutions, and towards, like you just said, just the simplest thing, living today, enjoying life today. And that's what's most important at the same. But it's I just listened to a podcast recently. It was a Jordan Peterson podcast,
Hmm.
and it's pretty much a culmination of like these different podcasts he did. But the theme of it was that like civilization, the world is actually in a much better place than we think it is, because like the all the journalistic narratives are like doomsday, end of the world. But
Hmm.
these guys, these highly intelligent guys that he had on there, were just listing thing after thing after thing of great things happening in the world and solutions and actually positive things going on. And it changed my view quite a bit, or at least made me question some of my views. Like I'm like, is it as bad as we think? Because as humans, one of our tendencies is to just go towards all the negative. That's like a superhuman tendency. Is like think about what people at least like when I see my students, because they're like 15, 16. And when I see them at that age, they're young, it's their minds are still forming, but they have this natural attraction towards drama and conflict. I mean, you remember in high school, you hear there's a fight after school, you're trying to go watch that fight after school. We
Mhm.
have the on social media, people aren't aren't watching feel good videos all day. They're watching some crazy stuff on their social media feed that they can share with a friend, or they're gossiping about something. So like we as humans have this pull towards negativity, and sometimes I don't think it's always uh clear. Like I think we're adding some stuff that's not there, that maybe we're not seeing the whole picture.
I think that's always a thing, right? Like someone's ability to have a myopic view of things.
Yeah.
And I think it's natural, bro, for people who worry a lot, because it's like a survival thing.
Yeah, it is.
Like, even when you're playing sports, has it ever happened to you? Like early on, before you became very skilled, where you got the ball and you kind of only saw like this,
Yeah.
versus, when you're more confident and you've been there, now you can feel the game around you,
That's a great analogy right there.
right? So I'm glad you're seeing what I'm seeing. And basically, that's my theory, right? Is that these people I have to develop the skill. And athletes have an advantage, sometimes in these events, right? Because we know what it's like to feel like a pressure, right? We know what it's like to get that ball past to you, and you have to score, you have to make the right pass, you have to whatever, right? Like, we need to start operating on a human scale in 360 fashion, 360 awareness, right? Get your fucking Spider-Man senses.
Your spidey sense is tingling.
Sixth sense. There you go. Dude, I just came up with a bunch of different phrases, right? Every educator must develop their sixth sense. Hey, that's gonna be me as a D when I have a PD with all the teachers.
I'm trying to be at your introductory presentation. The Sixth Sense.
Hey, speaking of which, the crypto class is this weekend. So I'll be doing that class on the 17th in Huntington Park.
Damn, shout! I'll be there.
Pull up, man. Pull up.
Oh, I will for sure. So that's like a big leap. I told you this before, but what's so cool is you're always so willing, like, to just leap into things. That you talk about like your own path and not knowing what's next, but you're definitely not afraid to jump into that fog and just like leaving teaching and trying something completely new out of your comfort zone. That's so huge, man. And it's a scary thing, what's that process like for you? Like what helps you to do those things? How do you deal with doubt or fear when that arises?
Yeah, bro. So courage seems to be a scarcity in the human condition. And so in order to inspire others, you have to be a leader in your own life. And so I gotta walk my truth, bro. I gotta walk my truth. And that means if everyone is too scared to jump into the mist first, then go, right? If you really want to be a pioneer, then you go. And there's massive risks, but there's also massive upscale.
Yeah.
And you gotta be willing, bro. You gotta be willing in this life to take a chance, and sometimes it's gonna pay off and sometimes it's not. So,
and even when it doesn't pay off, I feel like it can just pay off in a unforeseen way. If that makes sense, like you'll get something out of that still. So like
bro.
as far as like it may maybe not be like the goal that you had in mind, but it just might be a skill that you develop through it, or whatever it is.
Yes. At the end of the day, I'll be like, dude, it's God's plan. You know what I mean? Like meaning nothing is a waste of time if, right? All these concepts we've talked about, you show up authentic. Your intentions are pure. You want to self-develop. You want to inspire. You're feeling passionate. You know what I'm saying? Like we're merging all these little steps together so that when you do arrive, even though you're a pioneer or you're doing something scary, like you're prepared, bro. It's you're not just walking in there blindly. I'm walking in there as a warrior would into battle. Like
Yeah.
you know how to use your sword. You've been cut before. You've seen people die, right? Like this life is not for the weak. That's for sure.
Yeah, at least the life you want to live is not for the weak. Yeah, 100%.
Yes, but there will always be weak people. I mean, it's just the nature of biology, right? Like some creatures, unfortunately, they're born maybe with disadvantages.
Yeah, communities of that, man. Communities of people with those struggles, just breed more communities of that.
Yeah, and then let's not ignore the infrastructure, right?
Yeah.
Around these organisms. We
Yeah.
all know how important environment is for
Yeah,
organisms.
it's huge.
So there's definitely so much, right?
Like you said, we're so complex. There's so much to everything. There's no simple solution. That's why, like, the simplest thing to me is always to work on yourself. Go within yourself and see what's holding you back, or what's self-inflicted. Those things that are out of your control, at least for now, out of your control. Maybe one day some of them won't. Maybe you'll be able to have an influence on them. But if you put that focus on yourself, work on yourself inside out, then the sky's the limit, and then you can break those cycles and change your community. And just changing that little inner community, whether it be your friend circle, your family, whatever, that's huge. And then it slowly trickles out. At least that's the way I like to think about it. I'm super optimistic too. But yeah, man.
That's what the homies call it, bro. Disrupting narrative.
Say that one more time.
Am I too far from the mic, you think?
No, you're good. You're good. I just disrupting what?
Disrupting the narrative.
The narrative. Yeah.
And the word narrative is deep. It's deep, 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 because there's inner narratives, right? And then there's the social narratives. And
it's a bomb right there.
Right. And then we can become easily manipulated by either. And
sometimes they feed into each other too.
Oh, they become one, right? Like,
yeah,
outer and the inner, when they merge
that's true
together,
the outer is a reflection of the inner in a lot of ways.
I feel like yes, for sure. But then the inner one ultimately is the one that like basically tells the outer, right, what's it gonna be.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, right? Because the outer one, it seems to be the one that's a little bit more like realistic, right? Because that's like the reality that everyone can see, and that it's the reality that everyone agrees upon.
Yeah, that's what they're all accepting for now. Yeah.
Versus the inner one, it's what you're accepting.
And that can be lonely at times, I think, if you don't have that community. If you're the only one with that you're trying to change the outer narrative, at least you can change it for yourself. But like on a larger scale, that takes a community. The narrative, I'm stuck on that. I'm gonna write that down right now.
There you go. This is what I wanted to say. We become victims of our inner and outer narratives. How's that for a gem? Huh, Mr. Dr. Green?
Dr. Green. Hey,
bumper stickers.
That's a bumper sticker right there.
Bump, 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 bump.
Hey, and as far as inner narratives, just going back to mindfulness, it's like, I think people think that, like, some people might be confused by that, like my inner narrative. So it's that like inner dialogue you got going on, and telling you what's possible for yourself or what's not, limiting you, doubting yourself, putting you in this box. That a lot of it, just takes us for a ride here, takes us for a ride there. And I think that those narratives that aren't helpful will still be there at times, just because like you said, we've just been conditioned by our environments, by repetition, years after years. But we can reprogram ourselves. We can start noticing those narratives without giving them as much power over us. We can start noticing those, like, nah, that's not the narrative that I want, or that narrative's not even my narrative. Why am I feeding that? And then at the less and less you engage with those narratives mentally, internally, you'll notice the less and less power those narratives have over you. And also the less they show up. And then all of a sudden, like, as you practice, then these narratives are, you mostly are filled with the narratives you want, you start those roots start spreading, and it's beautiful.
Amen, brother. Amen. Never, never, never underestimate the power of mindfulness, but being introduced and done in the most genuine, uplifting, understanding way and non-forceful. You know what I'm saying? Because really, these tools really are interpersonal. So
Yeah,
you can't like shove it into someone's mouth. You know what I mean? Or force feed it. Like otherwise, it becomes ideology.
exactly. It just has to be something that you offer up, and whoever wants to take it can take it, and whoever doesn't. And that's interesting you said that, because when I first learned about mindfulness and I started practicing it for myself, like I just saw its power and I just wanted to share it with everyone. So I was like, dang, how can I get this to this many people, this, and this? I was thinking about, okay, how can I make this class? How can I do this and that? And I realized that, like, okay, well, nah, then it's just gonna turn into like what everything else is. Like you said, like I don't want it to turn into biology or this and that, or like another program that teachers get that they're not enthused or buy into, that oh, the school purchased this program, so everyone needs to use this, even though everyone doesn't believe in this. Like
Right.
mindfulness is something where I think you really need to practice it and discover its beauty, its power, for yourself. And I say it like it's this thing, but it's just a way of living. It's just being present in your life, internally, externally, and that's how you really live as authentic as you can. Is you're just present with whatever comes, man. You just roll with life in ways and what feels right for you, and you make mistakes. Sometimes you're not, but yeah. So that, I guess what I was just trying to say is, you're right. It is something that needs to be taught gently in a way, or from, and it needs to be the right environment from someone who's coming from a good place. Like it's very popular right now. Mindfulness is super popular, that word. So I think you got to be careful with that in ways,
Hmm.
because it's like it's not like some quick fix, if that makes sense.
No, it's not. Nothing that's deep and soulful. You know what I'm saying? Or deep and revolutionary is gonna be an easy peasy, solution. Just put a band-aid type shit on it. It's like it's the type of shit you and I think about driving home after a tough day, right? It's like, oh yeah, I was actually mindful today. That was sick, dude. And then another day, like, I actually reacted at an ego today. And then I think where it really good becomes helpful is like, right, and this is cool having this conversation, right? Because this is like basically me doing a live coaching session, right? It's like, all right, hey, dog, tell me, let's write about that time when you reacted at an ego. All right, cool. We wrote it down. Now let's write about that time when you were more compassionate and when you were more mindful. Right now, through your own process of writing, or record yourself, dog. This is crazy. You see what I'm saying, bro? Like
Yeah,
I'm just like out here fucking changing the game. I haven't even started, you know. But I'm gonna need people to be courageous, right? All right, Derek. If you're down, record yourself having this dialogue about when you were pissed, right? And then let's record ourselves now talking about the day where we had a good day. And you compare and contrast. Like you tell me how it makes you feel different, and you tell me who do you want to be. Like which one makes you, which one is gonna be better for you, the village, and so on and so forth. And I have a strong inclination that most people are going to overwhelmingly like self-reflect and be like, wow, I have a lot of power, dude. You know, like why is it that I acted this way this day and it was a shitty ass day, and I acted this way this day and it was a really good day, right? And then you create a type of consistency. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Consistency. Consistency is key.
with everything. And like the power of reflection is huge. Reflection is huge right here, right here. This is just reflection right here, you know. Writing in journals. And you're a big journal writer, right? Like you like to write often
Yeah.
and reflect. I just I'm not gonna lie and act like I've been doing this for years or anything like that. But most recently, last few months or whatever, I've been writing like regularly in my journal. Some days will just be, and I have a cool idea that I just want to explore through writing about it. Other times, like you said, I have that rough day, and I come home and I write it out, write about it, and it really helps me to learn about myself as I'm reflecting on it, especially writing it out because you really have to think about it. Like you cannot write and not think. So it forces you to really think and explore why was I feeling this way today? What's behind this? Is this something that I want for myself? And just it's in a way it's kind of just like throwing it up, throwing it all up, getting it all out of your system in a way. So that way that next day you can approach the day more open, not carrying the weight of that past day or that past moment with you into the next. And now I really love the video reflection idea too, because let's be honest, not everyone wants to write in a journal. Me and you, we love reading, we love writing, but not everyone may like that. So like even just talking it out, and you can hear the raw emotion in it too, which is another cool aspect of that. Like imagine you just record yourself talking about how today went. Like I'm kind of envisioning if you've seen Avatar, you know how he has his little video diary every day, and then you see that transformation and you kind of see like his heart opening up as he gets to know those the avatars, or I forgot what they're called, but those people. And you see that shift in him. Like first he's like this hard military dude reflecting, and then slowly throughout the reflections you see his true self, not his like conditioned military self, come out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And if they're not comfortable with writing or writing or videotape, let's record your voice.
Yeah. Yep.
Like dude, there's so many strategies, bro, that that we can all implement, and instantly you're gonna begin to see yourself, bro. Everything is about seeing yourself. And when you see yourself, and you get to kind of get to be your higher self, because there's really no one better to help you realize what you need to do than yourself.
No one
So if
better.
I'm helping you see yourself through a simple process like recording yourself.
Yeah, and that's like the power of like therapy and those things. Like great therapists, and I just talk on this. I'm not a therapist. My wife is though, and
Mhm.
and a lot of their strategies is just helping them to see themselves. Like you said, asking questions to help them. They're not telling them what to think or any of that. They're helping them to reflect on themselves. And I was like, that's so true. Like you're not trying to shove your ideologies and things on this. Like you don't get me wrong, you might give advice and things like that, but for the
Right.
most part, what you're doing is you're just, like you said, getting to the self, your real self.
Dude, see, maybe I was meant to be a psychologist, but I was not gonna go to school for that, you know?
I hear that.
So in a sense,
But what's cool is like you don't need to do that. Like education needs you. We need deans like you. Like there's plenty of great psychologists. We need some people that like we can all pull from these different career paths and learn from them and add to our own, and that's where, like you said, that revolutionary mindset comes in. We can only learn from fellow educators, this and that. Like, no, let's think outside of the box. What are these people doing? What are these people doing? We're all humans at the end of the day. There's something we can learn from one another and bring into it. So that's powerful right there. I'm excited to see you as a dean, man. That would be
we'll
sick. I'll
see.
be pumped. Yeah, I know. I'm
We
speaking
had
into
fun
existence. You
today.
hear me?
All of this was a hypothetical scenario.
Yeah. I know we're talking. I'm already calling you the dean of the
Hey,
school.
everything, all this conversation, guys, was all a figment of our imagination. It never happened. You understand me?
If we send him this video though, then he's gonna feel obligated, man. He'll be like, he just did a whole podcast talking about why he's gonna be the dean. Now I have no choice but to hire him on.
Yeah,
Oh,
man. It's a good life we're living, man. It really is. Um, by any chance, do you have any announcements?
any announcements, any big things going on with me? No, not really. I'm still on that same path. I'm trying to figure out I'm trying to build that program to bring mindfulness to teachers. So like students as well, but like my path is like through teachers, teach like those skills, like you said, like you want to share with teachers. I also want to share that with teachers. And I'm just trying to look for opportunities to take those leaps, and yeah, so no big announcements right now, just 10 toes down, staying on the marathon, you know.
Amen, brother. Amen.
Hey,
Well,
and one last thing, my bad. Winter break. Let's me and you. Let's hit the float tank.
dude, hey, let's do it.
Yeah, we're due. You haven't been there, right?
No,
Yeah, I was gonna tell you. I was gonna text you and say let's hit it, but I was like, why? Might as well tell you right now.
hell yeah. I drop it on the podcast. Let's go. Hell yeah, hell yeah. Let's see. Okay. Just want to make sure that if you haven't bought my book, guys, you guys can always tap in.
Hold up.
This
Hold up.
fool.
Let me get it.
7 lessons for burros and back chasers.
Here it is, right here.
Damn. The official copy. Matter of fact, guys, we have also a hard copy now. If y'all want to get one of those, they're on Netflix. I mean, Netflix.
Dang.
Amazon, dog, Amazon. We're not on Netflix just yet. And hell yeah, man. This was a badass podcast.
And your
Derek.
crypto class. Give one more shout out to the crypto class this Friday.
Good reminder. Good reminder. Yo, come through to Patches' house in Huntington Park. If you know where it is, I'll send you a DM me. I'll send the address to you, man. Hey, game, family, this crypto shit, man. Derek, you're in profits, right? From the ETH.
Yeah, I'm in profits.
There you go. Right. My homie, he listened, he understood, and he applied, and he's up with his ETH. You see what I'm saying? So, anyways, man, class will be this Friday. Date is December 17th at 6:66 p.m. And I'll see you guys all there. It was a pleasure to have you, Derek, on the show, man.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me on, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the first one in a long time. And I always knew I wanted to keep doing the podcast for a long time to come. But overall, I believe this is the best way for now, right? According to my resources and what I got. It does the job,
Yes, sir. As long as you keep talking to the people, that's all good with me. And you got to get it. You got to get it on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, hopefully.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So thank you very much, Derek. I appreciate you very much.